ladies and gents, welcome in. Welcome to our first knockout stage match in the FIFA World Cup. And welcome to LA. A massive matchup as South Africa are playing up against Canada, one of the host nations. Lost their right to host their games at home when they lost that final match in the group to Switzerland. Means they are now away in America. It's the very strong Canadian contingent here in LA for this one. Massive game, this one. It's going to be very, very tight, hard to call. Quickly with the lines here before we get off for kick-off here. Ronwen Williams, the skipper, of course, is in goal for South Africa. Madiba, Mombakazi, Akon, and Mudal at the back. Sitzel and Mokena are going to protect the back line for midfield. Mofokeng in the 10 behind Makgoba, Maseko, and Apollos play out wide. There is Hugo Bruce. Been with this side now for just over 4 years and has achieved so much with this unit. And for Canada, Crepel is in goal. Johnston, Larea, Cornelius, and Bombito at the back. Saliba and Estaquio in midfield. Buchanan and Miller out wide, with Oluwase and Jonathan David leading the line. So it all comes down to this. No more time for talking. It's all time for action. We've been waiting for knockout football, and here it finally is. The solo game from today, Sunday afternoon in America. It's Monday morning here in Australia, Sunday night in Europe. Wherever you're watching around the world, welcome in to the first game of the round of 32 for the FIFA World Cup. No more group stage action now. This is win or go home type stuff. Both teams debuting in the knockout stages. Both teams feeling the pressure of knockout football. And it'll be South Africa in their yellow home strip from right to left. Canada in their changed black and white strip from left to right. What a play there. A throw on the far side for Mudal. We saw what South Africa did in the first game, how they crumbled under some pressure there. I'll be thankful that Canada are not in front of those Canadian fans at home. It's way in Los Angeles. It's a big change, and it was the reward there if they won their group, Canada, but was unable to do so. So they're here in this incredible LA arena where we've seen goals aplenty so far in this World Cup group stage, and I think we'll be seeing, hopefully, something similar here today on these two sides. South Africa showing their strength in attack and intelligence defensively. In that last incredible game, beating Korea, which sent them through and Korea out of the tournament. Jonathan David, Miller. Good foot gets in there from Mofokeng. Area. Well defended. In the end, crowded out there. Really well defended by Mudal as Miller tries to get in the left-hand side. They're good match-up, those two there. Miller of Hull City. Mudal doing very well defensive 1v1 and then kicking the ball off Miller and getting the goal kick. So early chances will be hard to come by, you'd think. Expect a cagey start, particularly with two sides that have not experienced knockout football yet. Here is Mokona. Giving it straight to Alistair Johnston back there. Cornelius into the feet of Liam Miller. It's going to be Liam Miller, Johnston, and likely Tayon Buchanan. You're going to cause all sorts of problems out wide. That's a loose. And a chance for Osman Apollos to pounce on it. South African creator coming forward here. Yeah, I do see Buchanan, Miller, even Alistair Johnson, somebody gets really high up the pitch, causing a lot of problems for the South African side. The width, the creation, the speed out there. Obviously, they're a very athletic side themselves, but those players are absolutely rapid and fantastic when they get on the ball. I mean, vital for Jonathan David and Olubase alongside Carl Laren whenever he comes on to cause problems. I mean, the rear guard has to be vital for South African side, and Bakazi Okon back there. Be tight. Don't allow the likes of Jonathan David and company to get early opportunities. Closing spaces and be vital in this one. Important they get a good start here. Keep Canada at bay the first 15. Here comes Alistair Johnson. Just slips at the inopportune time. Taylor Buchanan fighting away and fouling. And Madiba brought to ground. Strong play for the left back. There is Sitzel. Pull that wide. Madiba has it. Trying to keep Town Buchanan. Trying to keep Town Buchanan there, just reliable defensively. I think that's important for the South African side. They don't just sit in at large periods of time and just allow Canada to attack. This is more what we want to see. Getting balls forward, getting numbers forward. I think there's a real ability for South Africa to get a win here. I know many people think it's a slam dunk for Canada, but the way South Africa finished their group, the last two matches, the draw and the win, that resolute defensive structure and that threat going forward is what they need. Although I say, taking his time on that, almost gifting a chance there to Canada. Sitzel. Mdao. Showed too much to the skipper there. Estakio. That long ball might work. South African shirts coming on the counter-attack now. Mofokeng. Long range effort. Well saved by Krepau. Mokena's shot. Testing. And all of a sudden we can't end-to-end here. Jonathan David putting Madiba under pressure. There's Mbakazi back there. That's the threat there for South Africa. The threat of the counter-attack. Numbers joined Magopa up there. Here's Miller. Paulie looking for Olawase. Dealt with there by Ime Okon. Estakio. Never got it down after he went up. First 6 minutes, chances at both ends. Krapau forced the first save of the game from Mokena's effort. Pretty central. Lacking a lot of power, but the quality is there. Mokena, undoubtedly the most talented South African midfield player. Probably the most talented player in this side. He will look to pull the strings alongside Sitzel, who will sit in and protect that back line. And you got Osman Apollos up top. I got alongside Magopa. Bombito. Back to Krepau and goal here. Searches long to the right-hand side where Taylor Buchanan's continuing his run. He might get there. He's going to get there. Buchanan. And well shielded. Taylor Buchanan, though, got that great turn of speed and the ability to get in behind. And Bakazi was in a little bit of trouble there momentarily, but once it became a physical grudge match, he always had the strength to shield Buchanan away from that ball and ran out of play for a goal kick. You're seeing though early, it's the attacks that bypass midfield and go a little bit more direct that look the most dangerous. Two sides that, Canada will try and be technical, but two sides that flourish on their athleticism and their strength and speed. You can see Jesse Marsh's high pressure. David and Oluwase putting energy into that defensive effort and closing down defenders. Buchanan winning that 50-50 duel. And Squeezy one through to Oluwase. And Miller's to the left of him. Liam Miller has the overlapping run. Here's Lareya. And the cutback ball deflected behind. And it'll be the first quarter kick of the game. Great defensive action. It's Maseko getting back and sliding in to get a foot in. Great defensive work. Because that cutback could have ended up at the feet of anyone. As the Keo, the skipper will be over this one here, the number 7. Not a massive side, Canada, but options are there. Ball into a very dangerous spot. But no one of presence at the back post there. King wins that foul there, deep in his own half. Mofokeng lays it back, Mudau. South Africa looking to control here. Apollos. There's the threat. This is a lovely approach from South Africa. Mofokeng knocked off it. Counter-attack here now for Canada. Estekio putting a lot of pressure there. Mokena looking to thread one through. Magopa. Centre forward. Not looking to run in behind too much. Wants it to feet. Great continuation of the run for Miller. Mudau gets in and wins the ball. Did a great job in doing so. Long ball from South Africa. Trying to get out here. Everyone's first touch under so much pressure. Thought it was a shove in the back there on Lareya, but referee didn't see it that way. Here's Osborne Apollos, the number 7. Mokena. Modiba. 11 minutes has been quite breathless. First touch for both sides under a lot of pressure. The press on both sides has been superb. Real physical matchup so far. Challengers going in. Seattle almost making a mistake there. Saliba sliding in to win the ball. Canadian build out here. Cornelius defensively alongside Bombito in this one. After that horrid start in the first match of the tournament, South Africa have responded. You can see it here today. There is still a level of openness about them. As Oluwase's in behind here. Great turn, but Mudau's there. That's a foul in the back there by Lareya. Well, the progression the South African side has made in real time in front of our eyes and this World Cup has been very, very impressive. And so there's still an air of openness and chaos about the way they play their football. But it's become a little bit more like organised chaos later in this tournament. You can see in this Canadian match, it's on the edge, but they are creating chances and not being overloaded. On his Canadian side is Mokena. Roman Williams. Ball looking to go down the channel there to Osborne Apollos, who's always a valuable outball. Mofokeng. Mofokeng gets it back. Here he is still. Mofokeng's kept it. Beautiful work from him. Ball back down to the left-hand side here. Modiba. Fakes to get past Buchanan. Great flick for Apollos. South Africa playing some tiki-taka on the edge of their area there. Mbakazi. Right, period of possession here. And as I say that, they gave it away. Estakio. David. Here's the counter-attack with Miller. A lot of space on the left-hand side. This is a chance. Miller. Great challenge. Mbakazi getting back. Great transitional defense from South Africa. Liam Miller thought he was through. Trying to cut inside of Mbakazi, but the centre half getting back and read it perfectly. Almost in the end, like a Rabona challenge. And the skipper, Roman Williams, not happy with how easily his side was got out in transition. It's that fine balance, isn't it, between attack and defence. Oh, wow, so VAR's overturned that. So no corner for Canada. Well, there's the almost ethical decision in this game here that South Africa and Canada have to make. How many numbers you commit up the pitch? How many numbers go forward when you're trying to attack? It was a good passage from South Africa. They worked the ball forward well. Flicks and tricks in there. But the minute they turned it over, they were so exposed offensively. And again, it was the athletic capacity of Mbakazi to get back to shut down that attack. Here's Saliba. Looking for Oluwase and finding him. Ball in the box finds Jonathan David, who's crowded out by Sitzel. Does well to put it behind. And the South African central midfield player with a heroic late effort. Jonathan David just taking too long on the ball. We've seen that story a few times for Juventus this season. South Africans need to show their rearguard action here. An open, entertaining and engaging first quarter of an hour. It's Estakio over this outswinging corner kick. Estakio's outswinger. That's a chance. Jonathan David can't redirect it on target. Tell you what, it ends up being a free volley when he works his way around that distraction. Oh, gee, it's a big chance. No pressure on him. Gets it on the full, on the volley. Got to do better than that. If for Jonathan David. Probably the most talented Canadian player on the pitch. Pressure falls on his shoulders to perform for this Canadian side today. Ball long, but unable to be brought down there by Magopa. Saliba around the corner long. Aerial duel initially won by Jonathan David, but the seconds was picked up there by Mbakazi. Canada throwing here. Great throw looking for Oluwase, but of course, any problems there. Canada look to take the throw quickly. Well dealt with by the South African defence. Here is Miller of Hull City. Cornelius back with Miller. South Africa's shape has been solid so far, but again, a few too many half chances conceded in the opening quarter of an hour. They want to score first, have something to defend here, like we saw versus South Korea in the final match today. I'm going to say for them there to defend Ime Ocon. They look a much better side. There is some quality passages in there, though. Sitzel. Faked there by Madiba. looking for that pocket in behind here. With Canada pressing up on them. There will be spaces back there to expose. Just safe possession right now for Bafana. And despite the boos, doing the right thing here. And allowing Canada just to try and come onto them and play through them here. And that's what they've done. Great pass into the control of Mofo Keng. Moody out. Settle. Now Makena. Diagonal ball. Over hit to Modiba. Unfortunately for South Africa, but that's a nice little passage from them. They've shown an ability here on the border to make things happen against this Canadian side. That's an unfortunate foul on Saliba. We haven't seen, though, the all-out Canadian press yet. The Jesse Marsh special, if you would. Maybe a bit of fatigue, maybe a bit of game management here. It's such a volatile style, especially when you go into knockout football. You don't want to play very ultra-aggressive. Loose pass given away, and a lot of ball looking for Maseko. Unable to reach him. Lanea, as he ticked towards the halfway point of this first 45 minutes. Krapau's only been the one called in to make a save. The South African goal has been tested, though. Ime Ukon in the Bundesliga 2 this season. Woody out. Attempt to turn there. Gone missing. Woody out flying in with the challenge. And then there was a foul. Ime Ukon being a little bit overzealous there, and although I say so a Canadian set piece in a relatively dangerous area here. First chance for them to set up something of note. Estekio taking a keen interest in this one here, the skipper. Looking to deliver something of note into a dangerous passage. Estekio. That's a chance for... Oh! Cornelius, he got in there free, open, a header from basically 6 yards. And got no contact on it. Oh. It's a glance at it rather than a powerful one. And then come the other way here now. South Africa on the front foot. Canada have to do some defending here. Mokena. Cornelius closed it down. And again, the back and forth nature of this first half. A massive missed chance the other end. And then the other, South Africa nearly score. Modiba. Ball stays in play. Heart and mouths there for both sides. In the last 6 minutes or so. That massive chance for Cornelius. How he didn't make proper contact there is beyond me. And McCarthy being pulled upon there. Jesse Marsh not happy with it. On that note, the boos ring out, and that means it's time for the quarter-time interval. Despite key chances and keepers making saves, it remains South Africa 0, Canada 0. Short break, guys. We'll be back for the second period of the first half very, very soon. So yeah, back for the second period here, the first 45. Chances at both ends, the biggest of which happened basically just before half-time, where Cornelius got in free to get a header right in front of goal. Somehow only glanced the header rather than getting proper contact, and it was a quite routine save for Ronwen Williams. And on the other end, shot blocked by Mokena. A long-range shot from Mokena, all saved early on by Krapau. The commentators have just said it. A tournament that's averaged 3 goals a game is we're surely due for goals in this one, especially with how open both teams have been at times. There's a sense of it might be a mistake rather than individual quality that gets the better of one of these two sides. And Bukazi long and Krapau well off his line of claim. We saw this a bit in the UEFA Champions League when the playoff round was introduced there as well. Getting a lot of more teams in, you get some very, very entertaining matchups in that playoff round there, the round of 32 here. Ball fizzes around the edge of the box there. Estakio's ball blocked away. Just a slip over there by Osman Apolison. Took down Alistair Johnston. South Africa having a little bit more possession at the moment than Canada, which is surprising because it feels like Canada have been on the ball and making the more dangerous efforts on the ball. But South Africa have had a lot of possession just to take some of the sting out of the game. Sitsel, Mudau. No out ball there because Cornelius wins it back. I think it's been very important possession for South Africa. It's about finding that balance between sitting it and then actually keeping the ball. And that's what they've done the periods in this first half. They've kept the ball and kept Canada trying to press and trying to defend. That's a good win from Mokena. Osman Apolis under a lot of pressure. He's bundled off it. Run by Sitsel to win the ball back there. Mokena. And he may have gone. A passage here from South Africa. That's offside. And Magopa. Decisive pass down the middle. Probably not what South Africa will be looking for. They'll be looking to get the ball out wide, utilise speed and physicality, and just get balls in the box that way. Can't be too precise, too tricky here. This is more what they want. Mokena to Apollos. Into the man Sitzel. And Ocon now. Just working the ball side to side, keeping possession. Keeping this Canadian side on their toes and switched on defensively. I like the approach. It is smart here in this situation. Smart for knockout football. You can't concede if you have the ball. And pressure can't build if you have the ball either. South Africa not going out of their shape too much here. Waiting for Canada to come onto them. Fans can boo all they want, but this is a tactical choice here by the South African side. Williams, great pick out. That's what they can do. Bypass that press and get the ball into Canada's half. Smart ball for Mokena. And Mofokeng is in behind. Looking for the cutback. Mokwena. Too much of an in-swinging ball. The keeper could take. But that's what South Africa want to do. Possess the ball. Allow Canada press up and play through that initial action. Get the ball to midfield through one pass. Done it well so far. Miller out wide left. Mudial with him. It's an important foot in there and had to play for the Canadian throw. On the far left-hand side there. Great battling away between those two. So Laraya's throw. That's the key with the chest control. Caught out of play here in this first half. Half an hour played. Both keepers caught in to make saves. Both teams having chances missed. The biggest of which Cornelius, as I said, free in the box, 6 yards out. Started to glance a header rather than properly get behind it and bullet that header home. Hero Jordan won there and cleared away. South Africa trying to get out. They do so there for the time being. A strong 4-2-2-2 sort of box midfield when they're without the football there. Mofokeng and Magupa are the front two leading the pressure. And it becomes almost like a box or a full line in midfield. Trying to put Canada off their game. Mokena trying to get a challenge in there. Esther Kier was the option. And that ball from Saliba was poor. And gives pressure and gives the ball back to Mordau. And here they go again, South Africa trying to play through this press. Ocon. Little floater in there to Sitzel. He wins the header. Magupa. Fighting in there. And away with it comes Cornelius. Now to Liam Miller. Sets the ball back there for Cornelius. Great fancy footwork there from Teo Buchanan. He sent Madima to the ground. But the defensive coverage from Osman Apollos was vital. And he wins himself a goal kick in the end. Well done from the veteran winger. There's Madiba going to ground too easily against Tayon Buchanan. And Osman Apollos doing his defensive work, getting him defensively to cover off down the left-hand channel for South Africa. diagonal. Looking for Mafokeng. Poor giveaway there from Saliba. Hands possession back to Sitzel. Buchanan solo pressing here. Villarreal man trying to make his presence felt. Just hasn't stuck for him so far at this FIFA World Cup. Been all about Jonathan David and Carl Lara. That's a poor giveaway though. Saliba. Miller. Oluwasei. Shot. Well saved. And catching practice in the end from Robin Williams. There's the threat though. McKenna trying a little bit too much on the ball. And Saliba seeing that early. And nipping that ball back. Here's a chance though on the right-hand side. Slip at an inopportune moment for Maseko. Valeo got back. And Maseko wins a corner kick though for Bafana off Miller. Say his effort on goal. As I say, catching practice there for Williams. He's in a really good spot there to catch that one. So then, right footed out swinger. Oswin Apollos on it. For putting him out on first contact. Trying to be recycled in there. Still no goal scored here between these two sides. Canadian fans look on pensively. First goal massive, you feel. It's a knockout classic saying, but especially with these two sides who I think their confidence and belief could waver quite easily. So important you get in the front foot early and you make it stick. Great ball winning capacity in there. Sitzel comes away with it. South Africa have won those 50-50 duels in the middle of the park, I think. On the balance of things versus Canada, much better. Makena trying to take it on again. He is the most talented, but he's also can be the biggest threat with trying to take too much on at times. I've already seen that in this first half, giving the ball away in dangerous spaces. And that's a dangerous ball for Osman Apollos. There's options in the box. We can go alone here. Apollos. Great solo run. And Bombito got back well defensively to make the challenge. Again, though, a South African attacker just losing their footing at an important moment. Oh, but VAR's got in there and overturned that. So it must have been a double deflection. Osman Apollos, so here comes Canada now. Keeping up the tempo of the back and forth nature here. Ladea. Here's Bombito. So Buchanan goes back to Bombito and then back to Krapau and goal. Very balanced match so far. Each time having their moment. Each time having their moment to go forward and cause problems. Canada, I've sort of been surprised. I haven't played the out-and-out, all-out attack, pressing way. Maybe it's just been away because of how South Africa here have set up and their ability to take their time in possession and allow this side to press onto them. That they want them to attack them. Okay, it is a poor giveaway. He's been poor this first half. Flick from David linking up with Buchanan, but too many flicks there. Possession changes hands. Modiba. Chance to drive forward here for South Africa. Tried the back heel and there's too much there. Don't know why he turned once he had that run going forward. That's a very, very silly chance from Sitzel. And Hugo Bruce is telling him just to calm down. So is the referee. There's no need to do that on Saliba. I say turn by Ime Ocon there. A bit extravagant with a body feint on your own bar line. Okay, Bruce demanding on the touchline there. Thinking about will take this free kick. Give it distance. Into the final knockings here of this first game of the 26 World Cup knockout stages. Johnson fizzes one in. Oluwase picked it up and then was fouled. And Mbakazi, the over-aggressor there, putting a foot in there and not winning the ball. That's a fair call by the referee. Attempt to win it, but didn't do so fairly at all. So Estaquillo, another dangerous region, was the last set piece that led to that open header for Cornelius. Can they find a way again to get a free header in the box? Estaquillo on it. David Bombito, Oluwase, Cornelius, all the major options. The heavy hitters are up there. Estaquillo with a right-footed out-swinging delivery. Put it in the middle of the box. It was Oluwase, I think. Couldn't keep the header down and it's headed on the roof of the net. That one's a tough one. It's sort of put on top of him, had to get up and then try and get over it. It's almost impossible from there. Jesse Marstow claps on. His side looked the best from counter-attacking actions or set plays, but it's been the build-up of South Africa. It's been most impressive in this one. They've been the surprise to me so far. They approach this game with great poise and composure, as seen here. Ronwen Williams taking him time on the football, forcing Canada to press up so he can play through the lines here. Clear tactic for them to enforce the Canadian press and utilise the spaces available once they do press up. Peter's in some trouble here. It's been landed on by some of those South African players. Pull out wide to Buchanan. Wins that header to Oluwase. Now Estaquillo. Larea looking to make that run on the left-hand side. It's found the feet of Liam Miller. The ever dangerous. Started the game strong, but has since faded out of it. Obviously, Mudial has been very good 1v1. Great turn, though, by Miller. This is what he's got. Pass broken up. Found the way of Alistair Johnston of Celtic. That's a dangerous outside the football. Johnston nicked it forward. But South Africa in the way. Mbakazi and Ime Ocon showing that solid rear guard. Canadian fans lift. Oh, look at that little toe poke in the head of Ime Ocon. And almost set up Oluwase. So Estaquillo, his 44th minute, in swinging corner. This has looked Canada's best avenue to goal so far in this first 45. Set plays. That's the Keo. There's the chance! Off the line! Still a chance. Still a chance. Well blocked. Saved. And South Africa can get rid of it. Heroics on the line there by South Africa. There was 3 or 4 chances there. And Ronwen Williams, a combination of the defender and the line. No. It was Madiba, I think, on the line. Then Ronwen Williams back the follow-up save. Yeah, it was Madiba. Right foot, right on the line. To the night, Bombito. And somehow, Canada couldn't scramble at home from close range. There's that Taylor Buchanan chance. That was the latter of the 3 chances in there. So South Africa avoid a disastrous end to the first half. Can they just see it out now? They really struggle to deal with those set plays. Cornelius. Out to the left-hand side, Larea's got space. And Miller in front of him also has space to run into. Muldial has to backtrack here. There, Miller chops inside and plays Area. And he's been pulled down there, surely. The referee telling the Canadians to stand away. I thought he was brought down there, Area. And South Africa are just reeling here. And a lot of pressure. Oh, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. Muldial. That's a very, very lazy challenge. Sticks a leg in there. Does not win any of the ball. And Larea kicks through. I wouldn't be surprised this is overturned here. She has been cleared. Wow. Oh, no, it's continuing. It's been cleared. Wow. That's... It's always interesting when the attacking player kicks into the defender, but wow, Muldial got away with one there. And South Africa are living life on the edge here at the end of this first half. Saliba. Long ball over the top. Taylor Buchanan will look to chase this one in. And Williams composed under the press. Solo game for today. Got the 3s then coming up in days following, but just the 1 today. And for the next 5 days, we've got 3 games a day. David on the turn. A chance for Oluwaseyi with space to run into. Muldial gets back to cover off. Oluwaseyi trying to make something out of nothing there. And runs into the South African brick wall. Muldial. Cotton gets rid of it. As far as Cornelius. Game just starting to come alive here right at the end. Sustained Canadian pressure. That's a foul for Oluwaseyi on Muldial. That's just send us to half-time with that free kick. And that is half-time. So, penalty shouts, half chances, missed headers. Jesse Marsh being told by centre-half Bombito to not approach a referee. Canada have peppered the goal late on here. They've had their chances. And Jonathan David and the Canadian side are trying to work out how that penalty has not been given against Mudal. South Africa are reeling at the end there. But in the end, they hold on. 0-0 between South Africa and Canada at the major interval. Big chances right at the end, but nothing to separate these two sides. Short break, guys. I'll be back in about 10 minutes for the second half. All right, we are back, guys, in the second half of football. South Africa did well initially. They fell away as the first half came to an end, though, and Canada could have had a penalty. I've had a lot of people saying the guy got the ball, Muriel. I don't think if he did, but that's just my view on things. It looks like a change here, and Bata coming on. So a new midfielder, some fresh legs in there. Look at this Canadian side. They've got some talent on the bench. I think Jonathan David probably has to make way to allow Carl Ladin on. And Taron Buchanan is not doing much for the side going forward. Miller's looked like a good out ball. Estakia is putting great balls in the box. Saliba's competing in midfield. But definitely on the balance, I think they've played the better football, Canada. And these South Africa who's just fighting to stay in this game right now. So Mofokeng, the attacking midfielder, off. And then Batha comes on. Just adding a little bit of solidity, making it more of a midfield three rather than two and an attacking midfielder. So here we go. Second half action. About to get kicked off here from LA. South Africa gets kicked off in the second half. They're kicking from left to right. Canada from right to left. South African side that finished the first half quite poorly, and Canada finished it like a house on fire. Could have had a penalty, should have had a goal. A chance missed. Keeper Ronald Williams making an important save. Actually, two of them in the latter portion of that first 45. So they carry all the momentum in this second half. Of course, it's knockout football, so if we aren't separated after the next 45 minutes, we'll go and have another half an hour. Mudau. Going to get away from Oluwase there. The safety of that South African goal was questioned there for a moment. As such, the change has been made in the number 10. Mofokeng off. Bathorn. Pressure on them to try and get a stranglehold back in this game. Here's Taron Buchanan. Haven't seen much of him, and he showed way too much of the ball to Madiba. Johnston following in, though. Now we keep that ball in play, though. Oh, he has kept it in play. Miller. I thought that was well out. It's well out. Lana not doing his job. Canada making no changes coming out of half-time. Kuni Lisbon-Bito, the heart of their defence. Estakia and Saliba with Miller and Buchanan out wide. And then to the front two of Oluwase and Jonathan David. Again, South Africa slow play out from the back. Going to try and bypass this Canadian press. He may have gone under that pressure. And in the end, Miller coming across and the ball comes off him and goes out of play. Oh, the LA afternoon sun here. Saliba wins the header. Miller. Picked up, though, by the new man, Mbatha. Williams, great switcher play. Modiba, first touch was good and got it out of his feet. Modiba again. Oswin, Opolis, and with Sito. This is better from South Africa. Working it from left to right and keeping the ball pinging. But as I say that, they give it away. And Miller the other way. Chops back and keeps possession for his Canadian side. Big start to the second half here for Canada, you think. Trying to recommence where they left off and build that intensity and build that control over this game, which they had in that first half. They want to keep this South African side penned in. Oh, no. Oh, no, the phone's gone there. That's a stinker. There was a chance for a layoff there to Mbatha. Magopa there. I just think for Canada, the set pieces look their brightest source, but I still think they can break down this South African side in possession. By getting forward and trying to break them down in possession, you're going to get chances for set plays anyway. But the delivery from Esther Keogh in the first half was unreal, and most of their chances came through those set plays. 8 attempts to 3 in the first half in favour of Canada. And South Africa never really caused much of a problem. Slipping and overthinking. They're playing the final third there. As I said earlier on, first time these two sides have made it to the knockout stages in the FIFA World Cup final, so a very, very impressive feat for both. The referee stopped the play here. You can't do that if someone's just on the ground. McCain the one down. Just telling McCann on the kick. Ends up following through on McCain. Interestingly, not really a sellout, isn't it? LA, a lot of empty seats. By far not the biggest of all the games, probably one of the smaller games for the round of 32, but surprisingly not packed out here in LA on a Sunday afternoon. Long throw flicked onto the near post. Not fully dealt with until now. Buchanan takes that one under control. Ladea. I haven't seen much of him. Obviously, when we watched Canada versus Bosnia-Herzegovina, Ladea was a vibrant player on that left-hand channel for the Canadian side. Here is Saliba. Over to Alistair Johnston. Looking to try to get the better of Osman Apollos and ends up kicking it off him for a throw. Can Canada now launch a long throw in? Similar to a set play, trying to get numbers in and around that 6-yard box in the penalty spot and get an early flick on. Action the second balls potentially. Goes towards the near post, flicked on by lower say. Play. Waste chance there for Canada. South Africa go quickly here with Roman Williams and look up the pitch. Great takedown there. And they come the other way. Working tight areas. Little dink ball over the top looking for Batha. Just a high foot in there. Against Mbatha. He's come on for Mofo King at the interval. about continuity here for Canada, trying to get that energy back in their game, trying to create those chances. They really have looked disjointed at times. I think these two sides are too fearful of exposing themselves defensively. That's why they're not really committing full-backs up the pitch and midfielders with those late runs. And throughout periods, obviously, the signs are playing that sort of 4-4-2 shape. So if you commit a midfielder, you get very vulnerable in the centre of the park. Bombito back to Krapau in goal. Heading long up the pitch. Well read though by Ime Ocon, who can bring South Africa back the other way. It's a little bit overzealous there by Ladea, who went down, he thought, too easily. The man there, Maseko. And Bokazi into Sitzel. The control from South Africa's been there in patches and periods. Just went away in the final moments of that first half after the hydration break. Little back heel. Mudau as well. This is beautiful foot. Bafana. Okay, little nutmeg from Mudau initially on Miller. Applied to the far side here. Mudau, a looser touch after the back-to-back nutmegs. Second half, we're 10 minutes into it. Still nothing to separate these two sides. Aaron Williams back there with it. He's urging his team further forward. To the boos of the fans, as South Africa are just happy to keep the ball defensively. Oh, great play. Oswin-Apollos. Here's the ball out wide right. Mudau made the overlapping run. Chopping inside. South Africa have patched the box here, but they haven't got a ball in there yet. Batha. Sitzel. Chance sort of come and go now. Well floated in there, but well caught by Krapau. Yeah, Chance ends up going begging. Maseko turning into trouble and bring Estakio to ground. Kind of readying some substitutions here. Segura and the Figueroa ready themselves here to come on for Canada. As the Mexican wave flies around the LA arena. So the Figueroa defensively. And it's Bombito makes way. And Segura comes onto midfield for Saliba. Finally, after that extended break, we're going to get back to the football. The second trying to work in that tight space there. That does well. The Figueroa, his first touch is coming off the bench. Now with Cornelius. Kind of looking for that opening goal. Although I say, David just can't sort his feet out. Comes away with Estaquillo. He's back to his feet and back on the pitch. Ball whipped in low. Dealt with by Ime Ocon back there. That's a foul. Ooh, don't agree with that. Cornelius through the back of Magupa. Gee, don't know where the foul is there. So an hour played, half an hour to go here. Could be a case of first goal wins between these two sides. Attacking players not been great to either side. Defences haven't been that great either, to be honest, but better than the attacking play. Williams, once again, happy to take his time on this. Happy to allow Canada to press up on the South African outfit. He's in that into touch in the end. And Miller goes quickly to Estaquillo. Laraya. Poor start the second half for South Africa. Much better for Canada. Some of the four throws begin the way of South Africa. So here they come. Left-hand side here. Bafana. Makina making the forward run. The Figueroa in well. Number 4 tackling the other number 4. They really have just possessed the ball for possession's sake at times. South Africa. Once again, the fans not liking Roman Williams taking his time over each kick. Magupa up there. Pushed the ground too easily. Makina as well, though. Wins that second ball. Madiba. Here South Africa go. Mudau. Ball looking for the channel. Gee, it's fallen away of Osman Apollos. A lot of space to shoot. Apollos! Ooh. That was probably one of their best looks at goal so far today. Ball just fell his way after it took a nick. Chops inside and struck it really well. Just always fizzing and bending away from the goal face. Almost a magical moment for the man on the left-hand side. So we fall in the way of South Africa on this near right-hand side for them. There's the stats. 7 attempts for Canada, 4 on target, all coming inside the box. 4 attempts for the South African side, only 1 on target. Offside flag was up, but advantage being played well by the referee here. Oliver say, Sigur looking for Tayon Buchanan. Can't get in there. You have Mbakazi. Throw high up the pitch there for Canada after Buchanan pressed well. They expect another long throw here for Alistair Johnston. Trey Johnston's long throw. No one gets contact at the near post. Sigur. What? Now looking for there. Really poor ball back in by Larea. He's been poor today. For his standards. Okay, now he continues to play a little bit further up the pitch here. Into throw. Off Larea. Cannon, great defensive work, then comes away with it and sends Sigur through. And here's a chance for Oliver Say, who can get in behind Oliver Say. Oh, what a save. Follow up. Oh, a vital defensive action for Mbakazi. Good Jonathan Davis wandering into an empty net. Williams and Mbakazi heroics for South Africa. Initially, great ball through for Oliver Say. Makes a save, Williams, but it's in a dangerous area. And Mbakazi getting back to beat Jonathan David to that empty net. And that's a massive chance spurned by Canada. That's the key. Keo over this corner kick. Right footed out swinger. Can they respond here? They look vital and very dangerous from set pieces. Free header for the Fougerolles. Again, wasting chances, Canada. I would say would have loved to be so much better with that effort on goal. Free through. Yes, Ime Ocon was there with him, but he had a clear sight of it and went to a whole lot better. And Mbakazi getting back to make that heroic last-ditch challenge as well. "25 minutes to go in this one. Canada have had all the meaningful chances and all the dangerous attacking threat. Yes, South Africa might have a lot more possession, but they haven't done anything with it in this one. The Fougerolles, a dink ball for Tayon Buchanan. Early ball in. Ime Ocon gets it away. Ball repelled as fire as Johnston to Buchanan. Now Sigur tried the fancy flick and then brought the player to ground. That's a stonewall yellow for the substitute. He's been very much involved since coming on. And that then's going to send us to the drinks interval. A final break in this one before we finish off to the end of the 90. It remains South Africa 0, Canada 0, despite Canada peppering away at the South African goal. Short break here, and we'll be back after the interval. Alrighty, ladies and gents. Back for the final moments here of this one. Schaffelberg and Promise David come on. Aloisei and Miller make way. Surprised with those moves, considering Jonathan David's been quite poor. And so too has Taylor Buchanan. But it's the opposite of each that have been made way. As Canada look to try and secure this victory. South Africa have been stubborn in their defence today. Done enough there to stay in this game. They really pose no threat, it feels like, going forward, but defensively they're solid and they're good on possession right now. They're keeping the ball. So Promise and Jonathan David lead the line out for Canada. Schaffelberg will be there to go forward, and here he is here with a flicked header. Promise David over the top, looking for Jonathan David. And Bakazi in the way again, as he has been all game long. A little shove in the back there from Larea. And Maseko went down and won the foul. So Canada have only got one change to make. As for South Africa, they've got 4 in their back pocket here. With the threat of extra time and penalties looming, it might be more handy to have fresher players later on. Group up there. Able to do enough to win the throw for South Africa on the right-hand side, and Mudar will take it. Is there a way through here? Oh, squeeze one through. McKenna was there. Great control in there. Larea took the ball out of play with him. Maseko with the great press. So can that hydration break just prove to be a very, very important time for South Africa? Can they build from that? Has the message got out to the troops what they need to do here? Madiba didn't take that ball out with him. And in the end, he wins a foul. Fantastic work from the fullback, Madiba. Segura and Johnston coming together with Madiba, which was crowded out on the left-hand side there. The intent for South Africa obviously not there. They are in this game to survive as long as they possibly can. It's the boos of the LA crowd. Roman Williams and the backline play keep off. Still waiting for Canada to press up on them. Here it is, finally. Jonathan David, and now Promise David go in. They can try and play through here. This is better, though, from Canada. They're pushing the South African side very deep, but they've worked out of it again. And Batha now searching ball for Apollos, who takes it out beautifully. And there's a lot of space on the left-hand side if they can work it there. And then she does get there. Modiba. Really poor ball in. Budar keeps it alive, though. Long range effort well wide. The quality just isn't there, and they go forward. South Africa. Well done for Mudar to get that ball in play, to be fair. But again, when it just gets to the final third, all of a sudden all their quality disappears. South Africa. So Taylor Buchanan has been replaced. Massive roar as Alphonso Davies comes on to debut at the tournament. And what a time to come on. to save his nation. Batha just bundling over Ladea. And Alphonso Davies, despite all the ACL, hamstring, quad injuries, and almost never getting a full season, he's still a dangerous, electric player. And he's been put as a left winger today. So that is going to be exciting to watch. You've got a quarter of an hour here to try and win this game in regulation. And Bakazi wide to Oswenopolis. Left his pass short. Schaffelberg sliding in there. And the ball makes its way out to the skipper, Alphonso Davies. And delivering a great ball in. Jonathan David holds over a promise, David. And he wasted a chance because Schaffelberg had the keys to the city on the far side there. Oh, gee, I would make the extra pass. And even when he does strike it, if it's on target, it's going to be well saved by Ronman Williams. He covers the goal well there. And already the quality of Alphonso Davies on display. Great ball to cut apart that South African back line. Just feel like it's going to be one-way traffic here for the final quarter of an hour. Sittel into Ronman Williams, and Canada also being stubborn. They're not going to press the centre halves. They're going to press when it goes out to the fullbacks. This is what they do here. So coming together there, but referee lets it play on. Alphonso Davies away from trouble and spins away for the second challenge. Look at the quality. It's on display. 1.12 XG to 0.17. Not to summarise how the games that have gone. South Africa just hanging in there. Davies with a hold-up play. Couldn't keep it, though. Long ball up the pitch for South Africa. Could cause some problems, but Alistair Johnston read that well. And Kapau found him again as he charges forward. Back here from David. Links back up with Johnston. Astakio. And Cornelius, who had that early headed chance that he wasted in this game. Alphonso Davies, a lot of space on the left-hand side. Sets it for Astakio. Alphonso Davies goes inside. Lays the ball off. Jonathan David! Oh, saved by Ronman Williams again. Davies has come on here and in 3 minutes has made this game look very easy. And the talent of the Bayern Munich man. Undoubted, undisputed. And just already putting the South African side under the cosh. Davies trying to squeeze that ball through to Ladea. Bamudiao on the way. Quick throw taken. Astakio didn't want the 50-50 ball. The referee quite rightly telling the South African Mudiao to get to his feet. Not going to fall for any rubbish here. So Cornelius. Canada now, for the next 12 minutes, I reckon, will be well and truly in the South African half. And South Africa will be camped in the edge of their own area here. Can the likes of Astakio, Promise and Jonathan David alongside Alphonso Davies find a way through? Played much better since the opening 25 minutes. Canada. It's really been one-way traffic since then. Cornelius out to the left-hand side where Alphonso Davies is. A little give and go with Astakio. Long diagonal looking for Alphonso Davies by Krepau. Mudial deals with it. Jesse Marsh getting involved on the touchline, keeping his team moving here. The time is now for them. Astakio. Sigurd. That's their Johnston. We see late Jama here in the first knockout match. Around the corner for Schaffelberg. Great control by Jonathan David. Canada keeping the football. Keeping it at will right now. De Figueroa. A lot of space for Alphonso Davies out wide left here. Looks to feed the ball in the channel to Larea. Mudial on the way. That clearance was poor. Mayokon. Cornelius going to come back again. Of course, it comes through Alphonso Davies. Estequio. Cornelius. The skipper. Or previous skipper, sorry, Estequio. Given away again by Sitzol. They just seem deeper and deeper. And they're not looking to really get forward here. South Africa. This is proper kitchen sink stuff for Canada. And it's rearguard action here for South Africa. Jonathan Davis drifted out to the right-hand side. Alistair Johnson looking to whip that ball in. Well dealt with by Mudial. That's a foul for a shove on Madiba. Not much in that one there. Jesse Marsh continues to sip away at the Powerade. Long for that free kick. De Figueroa wins the header. The flick on by Schaffelberg. So no one in particular there. Oh, Johnson, a great ball over the top. Promised David. Momentarily was through. And trying to feed through to his namesake, Jonathan. Just too much on it. South African fans happy, believing. Roman Williams taking his time on it again to Sitzol. Back to Williams. They've been happy to do this all day long. But they haven't gotten out again. Johnston. Estequio. Promised David. Jonathan David looked to squeeze one through there to the underlapping run of Larea. But in Batha comes the other way. And De Figueroa with a great defensive recovery action. Sigurd. Canada are coming again and again in waves. That's a chance. Oh, Schaffelberg looked to squeeze one through to promise David, but wasn't on the same wavelength there. Rare chance for South Africa. Nothing doing there. So here comes Alphonso Davies in Canada. He's got the pace beating surely for Mudial. Doesn't. Mudial back well. Sustained, repeated Canadian attacks have just come to an end here. This is where that possession for South Africa is going to be vital. Canada continuing just to keep the pressure on the midfield players of South Africa, including Mokina here. It's a beautiful ball to find the centre forward. The layoff now to Oswin Apollos. Space opening up for Apollos. Choose the hoot. Oh, what a hit. And Krapau made the save in the end. Another long-range effort once again for Apollos. Just continues to be nifty and crafty with the football. Long ball, Schaffelberg takes it in. Squeeze one through to Jonathan David. The return of Schaffelberg. An early cross in. There was a slip back there from Ime Okon. South Africa come away with it. And Larea has to do some defensive tracking here of Mudial. He's gone to ground. The referee isn't buying it. Jesse Marsh isn't happy with it. He's on the pitch and pointing at him. Davies trying to fancy footwork his way past the defender, but went nowhere with it. The game becoming a little bit stretchy in the final moments. Do one of these sides want to win it in 90? Osman Apollo continues his run. Seagull needs to be careful. He's on a yellow card. It's got to be his final warning, surely. Magupa coming off and Rainer's on. And Moromi on for Maseko, who really hasn't fired a shot in this game. So Magupa doing a lot of unselfish, unrewarded work up top there. No serves for him today. Maseko, the hero, hasn't really done too much today against Canada. Osman Apollos puts a ball in. Defisher roll. Sends it away. Finding in the midfield area that Jonathan David won that battle and Schaffelberg can come away with it. What a challenge though by Mbakazi again. He's been unbeatable today. That time around, Wadao brought to ground. Lay got away with a yellow card there, I thought. Lazy challenge to Mudau. Long ball to Fusharol, wins that area duel. And Sigurd sends an impossible challenge for Schaffelberg. 3 minutes left in the 90. Looks like we're on course for another 30 minutes of football here. Oh, pass blocked away by Estaquillo. And he's a chance in the counter-attack. It's 5-on-4 momentarily. Alfonso Davies, numbers at the back post. That cutback so poor. Such a waste. And South Africa coming the other way now with a bit of a power play of their own. 4-on-6 here. Ball in the channel for Rainers. Centre forward started match day 1. What is this right-hand side where Osman Apollos is? Larea, close company. Mbakali, undoubtedly player of the game so far. Some of his challenges last ditch have been superb. Another midfield battle, though, won the way of Canada. They can't come away with it, though. Madiba keeps that in play beautifully. Just stops on the line. Less than 2 minutes now to go. South Africa were reeling. They were struggling. But they're just short up here. And I'm going to see this one out. It looks like to the end of regulation. Unless Canada make a mistake and hand a chance to South Africa. And this is what it might be. Rainers, though, the touch got away from him. And a foul against Rainers on Cornelius. Rainers, that touch, so poor. Got to be more depth than that. Opened up the whole back line, parted ways for him. But couldn't secure that first touch. Hugo Bruce's side continue to almost shoot themselves in the foot every time they go forward because there's chances there. Just can't put them away. As this game has grown deeper and aged, the spaces have been afforded South Africa, and all of a sudden they're looking a little bit more potent. Winner of this one will face the winner of Morocco and the Netherlands in the round of 16. It's not going to be easy, but a knockout stage victory would mean the world to either of these two sides who make their knockout debuts today. Williams taking his time over this one. Canada not pressing him. Seconds tick away here. Mokena. Knock on. Sitzel. South Africa just happy to possess it here. 5 minutes to be added on. Canada not daring to fully commit to the press here. So we've got 5 minutes to see if any team can win this. In the 90. Headed down. Estaquio nicked it. Fed it into Jonathan David. His touch has been poor as well all day long. That ball almost found its way through to Rainers. Didn't do so though. David gets the ball back in, a chance to turn. And leaves that pass well and truly short of Alfonso Davies. Jonathan David has been really disappointing today. He's cut a figure that's just not in the game. Fougerolles. Schaffelberg's ball. Well dealt with as far as Estaquio, who is one for Canada. Surely. And the midfield maestro stroked home from outside the box. And it's a beautiful finish from Estaquio. And this game looked like it was just going to end as a 0-0. But the man who applies his trade for LAFC in home surroundings has made himself well at home with a beautiful finish from outside the box. Struck it truly on the half volley and has finally found a way past Roman Williams and the South African backline. This game needed a goal and it got it. Chests the ball down and takes it beautifully. Estaquio excellence for Canada. And one of the host nations are now a few minutes away from their first ever knockout stage victory at the FIFA World Cup. This game has been crying out for a goal, but also crying out for technical quality and ability. And finally, it popped up in the form of Estaquio, who's probably been Canada's best player on the day. And now it's capped it off with a goal. And South Africa have got 3 minutes here, max, to chase this game. David over the top for Schaffelberg. He's gone to ground, holding his head. And South Africa now, with the urge and the necessity to go and attack, are going to open themselves up, you'd assume. And we could get a second here. Crepeau sends it long. Big 50-50 duel to be won on the left-hand side here. And of course, Estaquio does it. And David over the top. And Estaquio looks to dink the ball in for Promise David, who's battling away with Mbakazi. And of course, Mbakazi wins that battle. He hasn't lost one all day long. Just over a minute and a half to go here for South Africa to stay in this tournament, to save their tournament. Offside flag goes up. Canada fans finding their voice at last, something to scream and shout about. It's been a real tough watch at times today. But there's that piece of quality from Estaquio. Perfect technique to roll that ball home into the bottom left corner. That fan, he can't believe it. His nation and his side are a minute away from their first ever World Cup knockout victory and a minute away from a round of 16 berth. Crepeau with his kick. He had to wait, but it was worth it. Headed from Sugo straight out of play. We're in the 5th minute of the 5 added on. A sense of do or die now for South Africa. Long diagonal crossfield ball. Oh, taken down there on the far side. Schaffelberg got back and made the defensive action and sent that ball high up the pitch. Referee pointing, saying 1 more minute. Probably for the celebrations. So we're looking at 6 minutes of stoppage time here. The Fujiro has to compete. The ball taken down well. Is this South Africa's chance? Well cleared away by Cornelius. Canada get the line up. Schaffelberg had a coming together there. Mbatha. South Africa search in these final few seconds here for an equaliser. Mudau. Oswin Apollos. Got to get something in the box, surely. Apollos. Ball in, dealt it with by Cornelius. Estakio to Davies. He just sends for touch up the pitch. Referee hasn't blown the whistle yet. We've probably got 30 seconds. Crossfield pass for South Africa. Schaffelberg is there. Gets a nick on it. Out of play for a throw. Mbatha. Just got to send it in the box now, surely. That's where he goes. Krepel comes and collects. And could that be it for Canada? And that, I reckon, will do it. There shouldn't be too much longer left in this one. Jesse Marsh asking for the full-time whistle. The assistants looking for the full-time whistle. Hugo Bruce wanting extra seconds. And that is it. Canada do it. The hosts remain. And thanks to their midfield maestro, Estakio, who ran the midfield all day long, his beautiful finish in stoppage time has secured Canada the victory today. A game that was so tightly contested, lacked a lot of quality, but when it mattered most, Estakio stood up and made the difference. It was his finish in stoppage time that's proved the difference today between South Africa and Canada. Hugo Bruce's Bafana fall short. They battled so well in this tournament and can hold their heads high. They made the knockout stages, but not enough quality and not enough ability today to get the better of Canada. It's Estakio in the 92nd minute that proves to be the winner here today. Canada 1, South Africa 0, and it's the co-hosts that are through to their first ever round of 16 tie. Congratulations, Canada. They live to fight another day. And for South Africa, it's their road that has come to an end here. Canada 1, South Africa 0.